Okay, my darlings, so we will begin with some Qigong warming up. And the first thing is my favourite kind of breath. So legs wide, we're going to scoop energy up, hold it into the belly. On an exhale, tuck the chin, crunch the belly and push away using the heel of the hands. I'll turn sideways for the view and so you can see my cat better. Then you take a breath in, reach as tall as you can. And on an exhale, let your arms float gently, gently, gently down. So again, wide leg stance, scoop in the energy. On the breath in, hold it into the core. On the exhale, crunch, tuck the chin, push away. Oh, that's nice. Breathe in tall. And exhale, let the arms float down. I'll face you girls now. Breathe in. Hold the energy into the core. Exhale, push away, tuck the chin. Breathe in tall. Exhale, release the arms down. We'll do that one more time. Bring in the energy into the core, hold it. On an exhale, tuck, crunch and press. On an inhale, raise tall. On an exhale, let the hands float down. Lovely. So we're going to literally shake tension out the body and to stimulate at the same time. And we're going to squeeze our shoulders up to our ears and at the same time rock our way onto the balls of our feet. And then on an exhale, let your shoulders just completely drop down and your heels at the same time. So breathe in and do a nice outward breath to get lots of toxins out. Breathe in. And just shake all that out. So that's just starting to get tension out the shoulders. We're now going to raise our arms up. And then on an exhale, we're going to twist through the body. And with your hands like fists, hit your hip bone. Not hard, but just enough. And then you raise it and exhale, bring it down. So it's bringing a twist through the body. Breathe in, exhale, breathe in, exhale. And you can breathe out through the mouth. So the exhale is when you bring your hands down. So we're warming up shoulders and the spine at the same time. And shake loose, pause, pull those shoulders back and just absorb that for a moment. Nice. So now we're going to do our fingertips to our shoulders and get a nice wide stance. Soften the knees so you're sitting, bit of a pelvic tuck. And breathe the arms up and exhale, roll them slowly down. Breathe up. Really stretch those points of the elbows up to the ceiling and then exhale, sink low. Breathing up. Exhale. Breathing up. Exhale. I love listening to the crunching in my shoulders. So keep that spine nice and straight. Try not to bend forward. Exhale, roll back. Inhale up, exhale, roll back. And now we'll reverse the flow. Breathe in. Exhale, roll forward. Breathe in up. Exhale, roll forward. I'm laughing because the noises and cracks in my shoulders is really something special. And exhale, keeping a nice straight spine and dipping gently up and down on the knees. And roll it back, pull the shoulders down, push the heel of hand down and just pause there a moment. Lovely. So we're going to work on the lateral sides of our brain, and this will help with our balances later. So just going to raise one knee and tap it with our hand at the same time, and then do the same on the other side. So you're picking up alternate legs and just slapping on the top of the thigh with your heel of the hand, nice and gently. It's also going to help start pumping a bit of blood around the body. And now we're going to challenge the brain by working cross-laterally. So you'll bring opposite hand to knee. So we're switched from one to the other. My cat is moving off in disgust. Okay, so we should be warming up in the whole of the body by now. And now we're going into shifting our weight side to side. And start swinging those hips back in a figure of 8. Oh, which always feels lovely, but let your arms hang loose and swing. This is one of my favourite moves of all time, not least of all for stretching and relaxing the lower back. And you can start drawing, swishing little patterns in front of you like through water. And start slowing the breath. As you slow the movement, you can slow your breath. Calming. Nice. Lovely. And just pause, roll back, feel the stillness for a moment. Nice. Sorry, my cat's constantly in and out of the picture. So we're going to do a little bit of drumming and tapping, and that's to stimulate the muscles and the circulation. So with your tips of your fingers, very lightly start drumming your chest, working on one lung on one side. Get rid of any stagnant build up and then work on the other side. So just lightly tapping, making funny drumming sounds on your sternum, on your chest, on both sides, just up and down a bit. And now we'll start our cupping on the back of our neck, down the trapezius, pat down the arm, around the wrists, which surprisingly get quite achy, and then up the inside of the arm, and again from the neck, top of the shoulder, down the outside of the arm, across the wrists, and up, and we'll go straight to the other side. Start tapping, just cupping the hands so it's not the full whack. Very noisy. And top of the shoulder, down the outside of the arm, round the wrist, and back up. The reason my cat is sitting here for such a long time is because she's puzzled how she's going to get on the windowsill because the curtains are closed. She's not the brightest spark. Okay, my darlings, now rub the palms vigorously together. So we want to build lots of heat. Get nice and vigorous. And bring your hands to the back, and we're going to give a nice kidney rub, which feels lovely in the lower back. So just really warming up that area. Nice. You can really push in quite hard without causing any damage, so just really get a nice warmth in that area all around the pelvis. You can go over the top of the pelvis bone, that feels nice, over the hip. And now we're going to start doing our patting again, so down the outside of the legs, coming down to the ankles if that's accessible, and then pat all the way back up the inside and down the back of the legs, make lots of noise around the ankles, and then pat all the way up on the inside again. One more time, just patting, really nice flesh slapping down and back up, and just give the hands a shake, the wrists, the shoulders, the body, shake the ankles out, and exhale, roll back. And hopefully you're feeling nice and tingly. So we're going, because we're standing, we're going into our sun salutations, and we're going to build it into a yoga flow. And a yoga flow simply means repeated movements. It's like learning a little bit of choreography. Excuse me, Kat. Yeah. So, standing towards the top of the mat, breathe in, sweep the arms up. Get yourself as tall as you can. Rock the weight into the heels so you make a lovely straight line. And then on an exhale, soften the knees and just fold yourself forward. So we're going to dangle upside down. Now, she managed it. I should have mentioned before, because it's morning, it's nice to have a really wide leg stance. So you can have your legs as wide as the mat. Are you right, Liz? It's just a time to dangle. Let any tension drain out of your shoulders, out of your neck. Also, when you're upside down, it's a really good opportunity to do a few gentle neck circles because there's no pressure on the neck. So using the crown of the head to draw little circles. Going both ways, nice and slowly. And of course, turning your head to look one way and turning to look the other way. Just finding where the stiffness is for you. And then on a breath in, we're going to slowly come up halfway and then rest your hands on your thighs, top of your thighs, roll those shoulders back, pull up the stomach and drive your chest between your shoulders. So you're really trying to extend your spine as long as you can. And you're stretching the back of the hamstrings at the same time. But it's fine if your knees need to bend a little. That's absolutely fine. The focus is the back. So drive that crown of the head straight forward. And then on an exhale, we're going to release down again. And then we're going to come up. So sweep the arms out to the side as you breathe in. And on an exhale, bring the hands in prayer and come back down to standing. And I automatically, must be a belly dance thing, always have my tailbone slightly tucked when I stand, so I'm not arching. Always got that little correction so the spine stays straight. Okay, my darling, so we're going to repeat that, but on a breath. So we're doing each movement to a breath. So keeping your wide stance, or you can bring it in more narrowly if you're happy to, if your hamstrings feel awake. Breathe in, sweep up. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe in, hands to thighs, push the crown of head to in front, long spine, pull up the belly. Exhale, release, fold. Breathe in, sweep the arms up, reach tall, tall mountain. Exhale, hands down to the chest. So we'll do that one more time. Breathe in, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe in, hands to thighs, push crown of head to in front, pull that chest through the shoulders. Exhale, fold. Breathe in, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands to chest. Lovely. So we're going to build in a sort of little vinyasa flow now. And we're going into downward dog, but a very gentle, wide-legged morning downward dog. So breathe in, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Now this time, with the bent knees, plant your hands firmly on the mat in front of you and just gently walk your feet back. And you want to get far enough back, and your knees can be as bent as you like and as wide as the mat. You want to be as far back that you can press your ears in line with your arms and your bottom up in the air. And as I said, you can have your knees bent as much as you like. And you really push through the fingertips, so you're not pushing into the wrist, you're pushing through the finger pads. And whilst we're here, just do a little bit of treading, just stretching. So that means just raise up one heel, lower the other, and alternate. And as I said, keep your knees as bent as you like. You're just waking and opening up all the back part of the body. Lovely. And now we're going to lower both knees slowly to the mat. And then come up onto your knees, so we're kneeling. And just either pick up the leg or you can just step that front leg forward. So knee tracks over ankle. Just enjoy a little stretch through your hip flexors and your quads. So we're going to reach our arms up in line with the ears and going to keep on reaching like you're going to try and touch the ceiling. At the same time, push that front foot really firmly into the floor and push your shin on the back leg really firmly into the floor. So you're trying to push yourself up, and because there's always something else to do in yoga, squeeze in the stomach. See, you get a little pelvic tuck even, and pull up the pelvic floor at the same time. So you're driving your body, your energy is going all the way up. You're pushing like you want to push up off the mat. And release down. So staying in this pose, we're going to bring our hand to the mat. So my opposite hand to the mat. So my right leg is forward, my left hand is on the mat. And with the other hand, going to press it up to the ceiling to open out the chest and get a twist through the spine. We'll hold that for a breath. And now take the back of the hand to the head and push your head against that hand. So it's kind of like a neck stretch, but it's also helping pull that shoulder back, so you're getting a really good twist through. Lovely. Reach that hand up. Bring the hand back to the mat. And now we're going to tuck our back toe and we're going to raise the back knee off the mat. So it's fine if you need to go on your fists, if you can't do flat hands. Just come up onto your knuckles and just see if you can raise that back knee off the mat. So it's a strong stretch through the legs. And if it's too much, just lower back down and rest there a moment. But if you're able to raise that knee off the mat, your next challenge, push through the front foot, push through the back toes and see if you can push yourself up. It's a very strong, challenging pose, so don't worry if that's too much. And then we're just going to bring our hands back to the floor, lower that knee if you haven't already. And we're just going to try and bring both our back foot to meet our front. So do that in any way that is accessible to you. You can either step it up straight away, so in a forward fold, or do whatever access you need to do to get there. And then we're going to breathe in, reach tall. So we're back into our sun salutations. Exhale, hands down to the heart. So that is our flow. We're now going to focus on the other side. So breathe in, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Breathe in, hands to thighs, head drives in front of you, pull those shoulders back. Exhale, release and fold. Adjust the feet to be really, really wide and walk yourself back into your downward dog again. And again, you can have really soft knees, soft as you like. You're just waking up those hamstrings and the back of the legs. You can do a little treading. I like to stay really high on my toes because I like the stretch in my foot, but just see what feels good to you. And now we're gently going to lower our knees once more to the mat. Nice and slowly. And either pull up your leg or just step it up. So we're now working on the other side. So knee over ankle alignment. And our aim is to press upwards. So push your fingertips up to the ceiling. Get nice and tall. Pull in the abs. Get strong and firm. So start pressing your through the front foot and press through the back shin, like you're trying to push yourself right up to the ceiling. You should, and by really engaging those muscles, it stops them being pulled, that sort of being stretched and they're active at the same time. So push and stretch and reach upwards. Lovely. And then lower those arms down. So bring opposite hand down to the mat. Other hand first to come to the hip, or then you can open and extend up. So we're twisting through the torso. Oh, that feels nice. Trying to get that back shoulder, that top shoulder to roll back, and you can bring your hand to the back of your head. Push the back of the head into the hand. Lovely. And bring that hand down. Tuck the back toe. We're going to try and raise this knee off the mat. Again, if that is not accessible, that's fine. Just stay in this stretch. Otherwise, tuck the back toe and just raise that heel off the floor. You can really feel it in your calf muscles as well. Pull up the abs so you're not completely resting all your weight on that front thigh. And if as an extra challenge you want to rise up, it's a good balance challenge. Then reach the arms up tall. I'm getting a bit of a wobble on myself. Okay, that's a very strong pose, so don't worry if that hasn't happened for you today. If you have, just bring your hands back down, lower that knee back to the floor, and this time we're going to step this back leg, if you can. See if you can just step it up. Doesn't matter if it takes a few steps or you have to crawl over there or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just do what feels safe for you and your body. And then we're going to sweep our way up and exhale, hands to prayer in front of us. Okay, so I'm just checking our time code. Good, we've got 9 minutes on this section. So have a little release. That's quite a challenging sequence if your body's unaccustomed to this, but it's been preparation for the balances, the standing balances that we're doing, because we've been opening up our hips and stretching our legs. So the first thing we're going to do, everybody find yourself a bit of wall or a back of a sofa or chair, somewhere where you can have your fingertips at arm's length. We're going into a warrior 3, and a warrior 3 normally it's so much of a wobbly challenge that you can never fully get into the pose. So we're going to start against using the wall, and you will get to feel and experience the muscles that you're aiming towards. So it's nice to get into the pose with support rather than wobbling and trying to get into it and falling over. So reach your arms forward or rest them on the back of a chair. So you want to be a reasonable distance away because you're going to come forward. Now, step one foot back and push with the foot flexed, push that foot up. And as you do so, walk yourself down until you're about level. If your back leg won't go up all that far, then that doesn't matter at all. So you're now in a straight line, or as straight as you can be. So if your foot is here, your body needs to be up higher. So you're trying to maintain a straight line, and so there's no kinking or dumping into the back. So you're really pushing through that leg. Make the bottom leg needs a little bit of, she says falling over, needs a little bit of a bend. And that will help you feel more supported and balanced. And really squeeze those buttocks. So a lot of this pose is about your core and your booty. Giving everything a good tight squeeze, you can really feel how much that support leg has to work. So this is a warrior 3. And the final thing, of course, is to look down at the floor so that your neck is also in a straight line. And then very gently come back up, give it a shake so you can really feel how those legs have to work. We'll do the other side. So again, find your support. Now take the other leg and slowly come up. And what you can do is walk your way down the wall as the leg raises. Pull your core up because you don't want to arch into that back. So you're really pushing up, almost rounding up the shoulders. The foot is flexed and you're driving that heel up to the ceiling and you're looking down at the floor. So even without taking your hands away, it's a challenging pose. Really squeeze those buttocks, squeeze those thighs, really engage them to bear as much strength as you can. And then gently walk your hands and release that out and shake that out. So we're going to do the same again, but this time we're going to experiment with taking a hand off the wall or off the chair just to see, to challenge your balance. And you can put your hands straight back on if you feel nervous about it. So here we go, walking back. Press one heel up, walk yourself down until you're at the level that's right for you. Don't forget to pull up that stomach, reaching those arms forward. Now, staring at the spot on the floor, something that you can focus on, try taking one hand away. Maybe reach it behind you alongside your leg. And if you're comfortable about that, you can try taking the other hand away. However, if that is way too much, you hold on to that wall as much as you like, because just being in this pose is a challenge enough. Okay, and then very slowly and gently release out of the pose. Give those legs a shake, and we'll do the other side. So here we go. Hands to the wall, step it back a little. Start raising up that heel. I need to go back a little more. Raise up that heel. Try and keep in a straight line so your top half is angled to the same degree as your lower half. Okay, now squeeze those buttocks. Remember a little softness in the knee. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze those thighs. Reach those arms forward. Find your spot on the floor and maybe take a hand away. And if you're sort of feeling confident, maybe take another hand away. Doesn't matter if you need to hold on to the wall. I am wobbling so much on this side. And then very gently come out of it. Woo. So that's a good one to practice at home when you feel you've got a spare moment in the kitchen waiting for something. Hold on to the counter and have a little practice of that, because it's incredibly powerful, really good. If you're able to get even halfway along that will really strengthen your lower half of your body and your core. So it's a real back strengthener as much as anything. Okay, so I've got 3 minutes on this part, so let's try going from one balance into another. So we're going to do staff pose, which is a nice basic one. So I'm standing sideways to help you. So shift your weight into your support leg and peel the other heel off the floor. Always have your hand near a chair or a wall or something so that you feel confident about getting into the pose, and you can then always take your hand away if you feel confident that you've got the balance. And pulling the abs in nice and strongly, softness in that support knee, so slightly soft, just raise up one leg. So this is staff. If you want to complete the pose, if you feel that you're confident enough to, you can extend the leg. Now it doesn't matter if it's down there, but if you start with your knee raised, keep your core muscle pulled in. So this is our staff pose. Now what we're going to try and do is shift it so that you're able to step back into a lunge. Okay, so it's going to be wobbly, and that doesn't matter. And then we're going to change again back into staff pose. So lean your weight forward, so all the weight's in that front leg, and if you can, see if you can pick that back leg up and hold it in front and extend if you wish. Okay, so we'll do the other side quickly. Hold on to something, find something for support. Raise up into staff pose. You can extend if your leg is happy to do so. Now bring that back in and start ever so slightly leaning forward as your foot starts to go back. So you're trying to do it as slowly and with as much control as you can. So you've shifted your weight from one to the other. So you're now into a lunge. And now we're going back into the staff pose. So really lean all your weight so it's all prepared in that front leg. And then start peeling that foot, squeezing the abs. Bring that knee up, extend if you wish, and release down. All right, my darlings, so our next balance is going to start in chair pose, and it's going to be slightly different to what we've done before. So in chair pose, we're going to have, this time, feet hip width apart. Sweep your arms forward as you slowly lower your booty, just as low as you're comfortable to go. Get a little pelvic tuck. Now we're going to try in chair pose, balancing on one leg. So you kind of have to take a seat and try peeling one foot off. It doesn't matter if it's only there for a moment and you can put it back, but have a go. And if you're reaching, because it's a low pose, it's actually sometimes easier to get the balance because you're close to the floor, better centre of gravity. So just adjust, and when you feel able, maybe tiptoe the toe before taking off the floor. Try taking that foot off the floor, really crunch in and really reach forward. And then just lower your foot back as often as you need. And again, it's quite welcome to do it by holding onto the wall or leaning on a chair or something. So you get into your pose, shift your weight into the support leg, tiptoe, and then just raise and hover just for a minute. Okay, and then replace that. And then we'll do the other side. So I'll do it from this side this time. Reaching forward, tailbone tuck. Start shifting into the support leg, so your weight is in it. Peel the other foot off the floor and just try pointing that toe forward. sitting deep, and I'm putting my foot back before I fall over. Lovely. So we'll do that another couple of times. Reach those arms forward, sit as deep as you're comfortable to go. Peel the other foot off and then gently raise. Wobble as much as you need to and replace, and then do the other side. Pelvic tuck, peel that heel off the floor, extend the foot and stand. Have a little release in the back. And now we're going to transition from that pose, once more stepping back into a lunge, okay? I was going to do into Warrior 3, but I think that's beyond my capability. So here we go. Sitting deep, I've stepped away from the wall, but you can use the wall for support as much as you need. Tuck the tailbone, reach those arms forward, peel off a foot and extend, and then tuck it in, keeping that foot off the floor, still reaching your hands forward, and release back. I've suddenly had to widen my stance before I'll fall over. And then still reach forward. Okay, now we're going to come back into chair pose. So really push all that weight forward, take that back foot off, extend back into chair pose and stand. Good. Right, so we'll do the other side now. So I think the wider your stance, the easier it is for your balance. So sitting deep, tailbone tuck, reach those arms forward. These arms are a useful balance, counterbalance. Peel that foot off the floor, extend if you can. Now tuck and then reach those hands forward as slowly as you can. Lower that back foot down. And it's fine to adjust your stance or have a little wobble or move. That's absolutely fine. Keep reaching forward so your weight is all over this front leg. And then crunch in, tuck in the tummy, sit, and just extend that foot and come up and shake it all about. Good. So that is our standing balances. But we've got some more back work and balancing to do down on the mat. So if we're going to transition gently down onto the mat. Start by reaching tall. Exhale, tuck in the elbows, tuck in the chin. Going to roll slowly, slowly forward. Soft, 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 soft knees until your hands comfortably touch the floor. Then walk them forward. And lower your knees slowly to the mat. Because everything in yoga you want to do is with deliberation, especially when you've been stretching and flexing muscles. They're quite vulnerable. So you want to treat yourself carefully. So we're now going to do elephant, which is one of my favourites. Now, I know that it can be quite sore on the wrists, okay? So if you need to go up on your fists, that's absolutely fine too. And if at any time you need to break and come down on the forearm, that's fine as well. Okay, so we're going to begin. Pull up that stomach as strongly as you can, nice and strong. Push through those shoulders as strongly as you can. Extend your right leg behind you. So the toe is still on the floor, and you can do a little stretch out of those muscles by rocking on those toes. Okay, and now what we're going to do is by squeezing those abs, squeeze your buttocks, squeeze your thigh, and raise your heel to the ceiling, but just keeping a straight line of the body. So you're not bringing it up there and arching into that back. You just want a straight line from your hip to your heel. Beautifully straight. Keep pulling up those abs. Now with the opposite hand, so with your left hand, you're going to reach your left hand in front of you. So you have your heel driving in one direction and your hand driving in the opposite direction, like you're trying to pull yourself apart. Okay, and really pull up that stomach, squeeze those glutes, and then gently release knee and hand back. You can relax your back by sitting back on your heels, going into a bit of a child's pose. Tuck the chin, and we'll do the same on the other side. So take your left leg back with your toes tucked, and we just have a nice little back of the leg stretch, just rocking and rolling over that those toes. Feels really nice stretch. And now engage the stomach really strongly, really pull it up against the spine, push through those shoulder blades, and squeezing your buttocks and thighs, raise that leg. You don't have to raise it at all high to make it in line, hip to heel, and then hip to shoulder. So we're trying to be as straight line as we can. And now with your right hand, so shift your weight into that left hand, so your right hand can reach forwards. You're driving those fingers in one direction, the heel in the opposite direction. Crunch it up, crunch up that belly, and just hold. Shaking is brilliant, so that's good if that's happening for you. And then gently lower knee and hand. And this time as we sit back, we're going to just roll our wrists to release them out. And the other side. Lovely. So the next part is going to be a bit more challenging. Same principle, but this is all both back and balance that we're focusing on. So knees under your hips, hands under shoulders, which means they're slightly wider than the hips. And we're going once more to press that your right heel back, raise that right heel, crunch up the core, push through those shoulders like you're almost trying to arch up into the back, then reach your left hand in the opposite direction. Now the challenge is going to swing your right leg out to the right and your left arm out to the left. So you're making a sort of cross shape, and you're really going to have to squeeze in those abs. And it doesn't matter if you can't keep that leg up, just do what you can. So really squeezing, and then bring them back in line and release. And then sit back, rotate those wrists. That is a very, very challenging move, both for balance and strength. So it doesn't matter if you can't complete the move, just in the act of trying to get your body into these positions, it's a good education for your body. It's all worthwhile. So, doing the same on the other side. I'm going to have to shift you away from the wall a bit. So, extend that left leg. Crunch in those abs as you raise that heel. As I said, it doesn't have to go at all high off the floor. Reach opposite hand, so your right hand in opposite direction, and now bring your right hand out to the right and the left leg over to the left. I've still got the wall in the way, and it doesn't matter if that leg ends up dropping down to the floor. Just do what you can, but the most important thing, really pull those abs up and then come back into a straight line and release. Sit back, rotate those wrists both ways, give it a shake out, and have a moment's rest. So we're going to go into another little twist into the body, and it's one of my favourites, thread the needle. And what we're going to do, once more in tabletop, reach up your right arm and thread it underneath your left, so that your whole right side, the right side of your face and shoulder on the floor. Okay, and you can either extend your right arm, your left arm forward, or you can bring it and tuck it behind the back. So breathe through it, long breaths. And then replace the left hand and unwind that right arm. So we'll do the same on the other side. So lift up your left arm. On an exhale, thread it beneath the other arm. Lower your face and shoulder onto the floor. And again, you can push into that right hand to roll those shoulders back a bit more, or you can just extend it forward, or my personal favourite, tuck it behind and really press that shoulder back. So you're trying to get a lovely twist through the spine. Lovely. And unwind, pull out that arm nice and slowly and walk your hands back. So at this stage, we're going to go down onto our fronts, onto our stomachs. So walk your hands forward and then lower your hip, stomach and chest to the floor. So we're going to begin with low cobra. So bring your hands in line with your chest, pin your shoulder blades together, look down at the floor, and on an exhale, just peel your upper body off, and you can hover your hands. So it's very, very small movement. You're only raising the shoulders and the hands off the floor. You're not going any higher. So keep looking at the floor to keep the neck straight. And on an exhale, release down. Now we're going to begin by extending our arms down alongside our bodies. And we're going to just raise our legs in a moment for the lower back. So squeeze your knees so that your knees are off the mat. Squeeze your buttocks so they're engaged. So you've got nice, strong, prepared legs. And raise both feet off the floor, just nice and gently. So we're focusing on the lower back here. So your head or chin or side of the head is to the mat. And you're just squeezing with those buttocks to raise those legs. So you'll still have the top of the thighs to the floor. You also want to pull up your pelvic floor and your stomach. Squeeze everything and then slowly lower and release. Okay, so we're going to do the upper body again. So shrug your shoulders down as far as you can. Drive your fingertips down towards the toes. Turn your head to stare at the mat. Breathe in, and on an exhale, peel the chest up as high as you are comfortable to go, but really pull that stomach. In fact, you tilt your pelvis so your pelvic bone is pushing into the mat. So you're not dumping into that lower spine. You're trying to push your pelvis into the mat and roll those shoulders back. Drive the fingertips behind you. And exhale, release and lower. So we're going to do those together. So engage your knees, engage your buttocks, roll those shoulders back and down, and most importantly, pull up your pelvic floor, tilt the pelvis so you're really pressing that pelvic bone into the floor. And on an exhale, raise everything up. So you're driving your fingertips towards your toes as far away as you can. The shoulders are shrugged and away from the ears, and you stare right ahead, right down in order to keep your neck in line. And release gently down. And we're going to pause here a moment just to let the body absorb all that. Nice. Okay, friends, so we're going to gently roll ourselves onto our back, and we're going to do a little bit of stomach work. Yay! So for stomach, we're going to do a Yogi Bicycle. So have your lower back pressed nice and firmly into the mat. Link your fingers, just tuck them behind your nape of your head, and we're going into tabletop so that your shins, so you're going to take your feet off the floor, knees are bent, shins parallel to the ceiling, and really pull your pelvic floor and your stomach muscles in. So really engaging, pulling the Murubanda, pulling it all tight and in. And without raising our heads yet, we're just going to extend one leg slightly and then bend the knee, and then extend the other leg lightly and bend the knee. So this is lower stomach. Slightly extend one leg, bring it in. So breathe in, extend the leg. On an exhale, pull your pelvic floor and stomach in. Breathe in, extend. On the exhale, as you bend the knee, crunch the belly and the pelvic floor. Extend, crunch it in, extend, crunch it in, extend, crunch, 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 and extend, and really crunch that in, and then just pull and rock and roll that for a moment. Okay, so we're going to take it up a notch. Now, if you get a little arching in the back and extending over does that for you, don't extend the legs, just keep them bent and your pelvic tilted up as much as you can to keep that lower back in the floor. Hands behind the head, and we're just going to raise our shoulders off the floor and bring our shoulder to opposite knee. And if you're able to extend the legs, do so. If that impacts on your lower back, don't. You can keep your knees bent. And then on an inhale, come back but with shoulders still off the floor. Change your knee, change your shoulder, and try and get that shoulder to the opposite knee. And on your inhale, you come back to neutral, but with your shoulders off the floor. I apologise about Zuki coming to join us at this moment. So we're going to do a few more of those, but really keep those abs engaged. Really crunch it in. So here we go. Inhale, exhale, shoulder towards knee. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, opposite shoulder to knee. Inhale. Exhale, extend and bring opposite shoulder. Inhale, exhale. So the whole point is this is really slow. So you're really working those muscles, working your strength. And try not to crunch and pull your neck forward. Try and keep it tilted back with the full weight of it in your hand. You don't have to come up really high if you're going to compromise your neck. Exhale, release. Couple more. Roll. Try and get that. It's the shoulder, not the elbow, towards the knee. And come back. Keeping those belly button pulled in all the time and the pelvic floor. Just lock everything up in the center. One more each side. And then slowly to center. Last one. And gently release. Hug those knees in. Roll the spine into the mat. Get a nice massage. Lovely. Okay, my friends, so we're now going to go into bridge. So just rest your heels, your feet to the mat. Walk them in a little bit towards the booty. Hands along the side of your body. Shoulders pulled away from the ears. Pull in the stomach muscle, and we're just going to tuck our pelvis. So our pelvis ever so slightly raises off the floor. And then exhale, release. Inhale, pull in the belly, tuck the pelvis so it slightly comes off the floor. Exhale, release. One more time. Pull in the pelvic floor and the stomach, tilt up the pelvis. And release. This time we're going to begin with that, but we're going to peel our spine off the mat altogether. So here we go. Breathe in, pull up the pelvic floor and the belly, tilt the pelvis and start peeling slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, pressing those hips up to the ceiling. Try and keep your chin tilted away from the chest so you keep your neck long. And just push, as your weight comes up, you can start pushing into those shoulders to help elevate those hips. So this is a nice counter stretch for the stomach work we've just done. It's also nice and strengthening for the spine. So squeeze those buttocks, get those hips pressed up. And on an exhale, one vertebra at a time, really pressing each vertebrae slowly, slowly, slowly into the mat, one at a time. Keep the belly pulled in. I like to have a pause before I finally let my sacrum settle into the mat. Oh, enjoy that sensation for a moment. So before we go into Shavasana, we're going to take our feet off the floor once more, and we're just going to go into cone pose. So just lightly raise the legs, the feet off the floor. Knees can be as bent as you like. Just letting all the tension drain out of the feet. It's a nice opportunity to do some little ankle circles as well. An option as well is to have your legs leaning up against a wall for extra support. So it makes it a more restorative pose. Just turn those, circle those ankles, stretch those calf muscles that were working so hard earlier. Lovely. And then once more, bend the knees, pull into the chest and do a nice little circles of the spine into the mat. And at this point, this is when we grab hold of blankets and cushions and make ourselves as comfortable as possible for our final resting pose of our Shavasana. So lower your feet to the floor, or you can do Shavasana if you like with legs up in the air. You can tuck cushions under knees, under hips, under head. Just be really comfortable. Have a blanket if you need to feel warm. And if you want to, you can extend your legs all the way down or keep them knees bent if that's more comfortable for your back. Okay, my friends. Take a nice deep breath in. On an exhale, just let your body melt and dissolve into the mat, particularly your spine. Feel your spine elongating and relaxing. And whilst you lay there, friends, I am going to read you something. So, when we do Shavasana, it's one of those poses which everyone gets very impatient about. And it is, why do we need, obviously it's very nice to stay still, but especially if it's a morning practice, people want to get up and carry on with their day. And so I've been doing some research as to what other yogi experts feel the point of it is. And this is what I like, the best description that I found. Think of Shavasana as a time of digestion, assimilation, and adaptation of all the information that your active practice has put into your body. You have moved in every direction and loaded the various muscular skeletal structure in lots of ways. Give your body some time to process and assimilate all of that information and to begin to adapt accordingly. Your body will continue to adapt as you sleep that night and in the following days, ultimately becoming stronger and better able to carry the loads that you are asking it to. Shavasana stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest response, and calms your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight and flight and freeze response. You will be deeply chilled out after Shavasana, and everyone around you will appreciate you even more. But it is so true that, if you do a very strong practice, which we have done, and you get your muscles into a state of relaxation, if you then suddenly move off, you will actually undo some of the healing, some of the cell renewal. Your muscles are vulnerable because they're very stretched. So you just need to give your body that time to assimilate, to relax and rest, so that when you do get up off the mat, which I'll ask you to do shortly, when you do get up, you retain all the benefits that you have been working so hard on. So now we're just going to have a little stretch and flex of toes and fingers. We're not going to move off the mat yet, just going to slowly bring the body back to wakefulness, and maybe just roll the head very gently side to side if your neck feels stiff, and very gently roll over onto one side. Doesn't matter which side, but just move very, very slowly. Be very respectful of your body, and then take a few moments in a sort of embryonic pose, lying on your side, and then press one hand and ever so gently press yourself back up into seated pose. And find a position that feels comfortable to you. That might be kneeling, it might be cross-legged, it might be legs out in front of you. And we'll shrug our shoulders back and down. Sit nice and tall. Raise the crown of head to the ceiling. Get back to normal breath. And just bring hands together. I want to say thank you so much for sharing yoga with me today. It was lovely to have you with me, and just try and hold in all that positive energy we've created and maybe extend it out to everybody around the world. Let it go where it's needed. And I'd just like to say thank you, my darlings, and namaste.